guys, it's Steph here. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I'll just let you know that I live in a zone 6B climate. It's been an incredibly cold spring. Everything is set back by about 3 to 4 weeks, so it's just kind of a waiting game at this point. There are signs of spring, a few blooms, so I just thought I'd walk around and highlight some of it. I also have about 10 big garbage bags that need to go to the dump, a lot of cleanup. It's kind of what I've been doing the last month. My husband and I also started a landscape business that's been crazy and awesome. I'm learning so much and it's been really fun to work together with him. Anyways, this is my place of sanctuary though. I love my yard. This is kind of where I come out, wind down, de-stress. It's definitely my therapy. So let's walk around and see what's happening. Hyacinths are just insane. They don't mind the cold. So I found out the daffodil and the hyacinths, they really are just super tough bulbs. The tulips right here are still waiting to come out a little bit. They are probably late spring blooming ones. I can't quite remember. And so they are a little bit later, but it's kind of interesting. In the front of my greenhouse, it's clear that this side gets more sunlight and warmth, I think, than this side because they're taking off so much sooner. Who would have thought? And so these hyacinths are going to come out a little bit later, but I think they'll start to balance out with time, and it smells so good. So the tulips are going to give me some hype. I also have some daffodils peeking through right there. Everything is just on a different timetable this year. There's still nothing going on here yet. I have some snapdragons that I'm still waiting for. In my last video, I showed you that. And then I actually transplanted some of my larkspur that's over there into this container because I thought 3 plants in here would be pretty. My Iceland poppies, that larkspur, and my snapdragons. Just so it's a little bit fuller and you got a lot of contrast in color and variety. I really wish I would have planted those Iceland poppies in fall because they're so cold hardy, and I've been noticing in my neighborhood they're already out in bloom, and so I would have had blooms by now. Now I'm planting them here and I'm worried that it's going to get hot before they can even really take off. We'll see what happens. Okay, so the stalk are putting on some height, which is great. It is actually going to start warming up. I keep saying that. For reals though, I think it's going to start warming up tomorrow, and so they'll start to put on a lot more growth and there will be a lot of sunshine. But they're doing really good. Been spraying them with my deer repellent spray. Not one has been bothered. And then my ranunculus, I don't know if I showed you guys, but all these new buds are starting to come out. So excited. One right there. They're all over. So these are all of my tulips are right here. I've already showed you that. I've got to clean up some of the weeds in there, just hoe them out. But these are going to start blooming. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be quite a show. And then over here are the daffodils that I planted. Down there, that's going to be a lot of pink, purple, white, and some blues. So I actually think it's going to be a nice contrast. I didn't see this view before. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Look at the way they glow in the light. I planted this new bulb that I've never used before, and I think it's one of the most underused bulbs, but this is the Dogtooth Violet, the Pagoda variety. And this is one of those yellow ones I really like, but look how cute those are. And they're gonna naturalize and get bigger with time. I wish I would have planted more like 500 of these. I only planted 75 throughout here. But I wanted to show you some variegation on the leaf over. I have another one that has more variegation. Look at the leaves. That is so interesting. Along with the hyacinths and daffodils, they are super tough and you're gonna get more blooms every single year. I know there is not a lot to see right now. It's amazing how a garden can go from being so bare to so lush in such a short amount of time. So with me, I love perennials. I love flowers, so I use a lot of them, which makes my garden a little bit more bare during the winter time. I'm totally fine with that. We all have our own preferences, and I just went and visited a yard today that this guy loves trees and shrubs and has hardly any perennials, so there's not a lot of flowers. It was absolutely gorgeous, but it's not the way that I would do it. Moral of the story, do what you love because it is your yard and it should make you really, really happy. Here's my black lace elderberry. The leaves are starting to come out. I love this one just because it has that dark purple foliage, some beautiful flowers. It's a little bit more ornamental and a nice contrast of color throughout my yard. So I have some stakes right here. I don't know if you can see them. 1, 2, 3. So this area really needs some height, and I'm gonna put some gold spire ginkgos right, and they're gonna add so much height right here and block off this area. In fall, they have the most golden, buttery, delicious color. Just, oh my gosh, and their leaves are so cool. This is the Norway Froberg spruce. So excited to have this one in the yard. It's going to provide winter interest. It's got a lot of character. It's going to start weeping. Also provide some privacy right there. It's not a super fast grower though, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit patient, but it's gonna be fun to have behind this bench. So with that black lace elderberry, this golden color in the fall, and this, it's just gonna be such an abundance of cool, textured anchor plants and color contrasts. So right here, I'm really heavy with perennials. This is my forest pansy red bud. It's gonna get nice and big, about 20 feet tall and 15 feet wide. And it'll also provide some privacy over here. But this one is a really nice one. It's got the dark purple foliage. Buds are starting to come out and they have the cutest little pink flowers. And the leaves are heart-shaped. Can't go wrong with that. So I've got hostas throughout here. I just planted some columbine. They can handle the part shade, the full sun, and they're a little bit more shade tolerant, to be honest. They're a very, very versatile plant. This is the Nora variety. My lupin was tiny. I planted it last year and it's starting to come out. I just want to show you how gorgeous they are when they have little water driplets in their leaves. It's like they sparkle. Look how cool that is. Finally created a pathway. These stones were left here when I moved in here. Really good friends with my neighbors, so I just added these in, and I added the shade loving ground cover. It's ajuga, and the blue flowers are adorable, and then it gives that contrast of color with the dark foliage. Just kind of planted them all throughout here, and they're going to start to soften these pavers a little bit. Here is my tricolor beech. So at first it looks like it's dead. If you have one of these, or if you newly planted one, they aren't dead. That's normal. This is what they're supposed to look like. And this is gonna get nice and big, but it is a slow grower. So it's great for container pots and it likes the shade, but there's nothing quite like the tricolor beech. My magnolia jane is about ready to pop. They're really cold hardy, but the blooms are not. So if they come out and all of a sudden it gets cold, those blooms aren't gonna be very happy. This is my favorite tree right now in the yard. I'm also really excited about this. I just got to plant it. This is the Blue Point juniper. Isn't that beautiful? I also noticed when you go in your yard, it's good to kind of see what your viewpoints are and where there are things that you just don't like seeing. This is gonna get nice and big and it's gonna block out that over there, but it's not gonna block out my beautiful mountain view. I'm just gonna walk over and show you my hellebores. This is a really shady area. And these normally come out a month earlier and they're just barely coming out. But they love the cold and the dry shade. And I'm just gonna let these naturalize in this area right here. So I'm gonna have about 7 of them. I wanna add a bunch more near my cutting garden, some ferns and some bleeding heart and some fritillaria, different things. These are definitely one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm in my front yard. There's not a lot going on right here because I am totally revamping it. But the grass is turning nice and green. You see these stakes right here? This is kind of my big project. I think next year I'm gonna put the fence in the front, but right here, we're gonna create a different pathway. So we have one right here, but I'm gonna do brick pavers that go along here. So there's kind of a focal point to my house. And then another one right here, and it's just gonna be a soft curve, just so it's not so formal to where we park our car. I've already killed this area, so all this area is going out, this pathway is going out, and then I'm gonna totally redo this flower bed. So it's gonna be a nice transformation. It's gonna be a big project. It might take us the entire summer or even next year a little bit, but it's gonna be worth it because it's gonna give me a feeling of privacy right here just because this road is getting so busy. See, prime example. But I am gonna plant a tree that I have right now in one of my future videos. It's the Yoshino cherry. It's gonna be gorgeous. And then we can finally fix all of these potholes with some gravel in front of that fence. There's also points right here that we wanna block out. So my kids, they go up and down right here all the time, but I don't wanna see that. So I'll add something to create some privacy right there. Don't care to see that. So that tree's gonna kind of cover that out. Wanna see that. And so just kind of look around and see what's going on. So I just needed to give an update on my last video. So I told you that one of my deer resistant trees was a Norway Cupersina spruce. I was told that over and over again, and I knew that was not correct. I found out what it was, and this one definitely is one of those you should put in your yard. I just saw it as a mature tree, and it was one of the prettiest trees I've ever seen, but it's kind of hard to find in my local nurseries. I was so lucky when I got it 4 years ago and they were selling it. So it's the hillside upright spruce. And it grows really slowly, only 4 to 6 inches a year, and it gets about 10 to 12 feet tall and only 5 to 6 feet wide. But those needles are so hard, the deer really just don't want to mess. The deer really just don't mess around with them. Okay, there's my little tiny tour. I did kind of want to document this and show you what a difference a month makes. But I am going to actually finish this video by highlighting a hyacinth that I planted in fall. And it smells so good. And there's another one that's coming out way later for some reason. This is my favorite hyacinth. It's such a beautiful deep magenta. Okay, so that is all I have to show you guys today. I'm already having frustrations in gardening. Every year I think that it's going to be absolutely perfect. Things are going to go exactly how I envision. And then we have a really cold spring and nothing goes how I plan. So with gardening, I just have to remind myself, focus on the positives, enjoy what is working well, and try to let go of those things that aren't going as planned. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. It's just still kind of in a waiting game, but it is nice to see that there is signs of spring and things are starting to grow. I hope you guys are having success in your garden and hope to see you in my next videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button, and any questions you might have, comment down below, and we will talk to you later. Bye.